A few weeks ago, I released a video about a new early access, open world sandbox space sim called QANGA. And since then, many of you commented expressing excitement about the game and its future development. A lot of you also commented expressing various opinions, thoughts, and feelings about the direction a game like this might take, and wondering if a game with such a large scale, ambition, and low budget was nothing more than another game destined to fizzle out into the void, swallowed up by its own grandeur, trying to sell a dream it was never able to deliver. These concerns are valid and stem from a history of developers offering a vision for a game that only ever leaves fans disappointed and forever in development. So, to try and gain some more facts and understanding about this new vision for another open world space sim, I reached out to Iola Corp for a Q&A to put forward my own questions, as well as some of yours, to hopefully open up another dialogue between the developers and players, and get some idea behind their vision for the game's future and how they see the game developing. I do also want to highlight that I am not affiliated with or being paid or compensated by Iola Corp to make these videos. I am just a passionate gamer who loves space sims and open world games, and would love to see an indie game company succeed in making a game where so many other major companies have fallen short. In order for them to do that, they rely on the support and word of mouth of the gaming community, and I hope to do my part where possible. I want to start by thanking Juliaan from Iola Corp for taking the time out of his busy schedule to answer these questions. So, thank you for joining us today, Juliaan. And let's start off by asking you, can you introduce yourself? What is your role within the development of QANGA, and what does your role consist of?
Sure. My name is Juliaan. I'm 41 years old and a proud dad of a little whirlwind who's turning 8 soon. I've been working on the gaming industry for about 10 years now, across a variety of roles: customer support, moderation, community, and project management. I've made a lot of things, you could say I'm a pretty versatile profile. And at Iola Corp, my main focus is communication. That means handling everything from community management to content creator relations, press outreach, social media, our Steam page, our Discord server. And I also keep an eye on a lot of different things across the project. So when you're used to wearing many hats, you tend to jump in wherever you need it. But, well, officially, I'm in charge of com.
Can you briefly explain to those new to QANGA what this game is about?
Well, what is QANGA? QANGA is a sandbox survival game set in a fully recreated version of our solar system. Every planet and moon has been modeled at a 1:2 scale, and you can explore them all freely without any loading screen, from the depths of Mars to the orbit of Saturn. So the game is all about freedom. You can explore planets and moons, you can pilot spaceship and land vehicles, you can build bases wherever you want, you can fight creatures called the Sanglines, and collect forgotten relics from the old world. In fact, there's no imposed path or factions to follow. It's clearly up to you to decide how you survive, how you explore, and how you shape your own journey.
What was the inspiration behind the creation of QANGA, and how did the initial concept come to life, and how did you come to work on QANGA?
That one is a bit trickier for me to answer because I actually joined the project in November 2024, so it was 2 months after the start of the early access. But I can tell you that QANGA has gone through several iterations over the years. What's really interesting is that the game originally started as a battle royale. So you can still feel traces of that in places like Yellowwood, the main city in the game. This city is surrounded by massive walls that used to define the playable area of the original concept. So since then, the project evolved into something much more ambitious, a survival sandbox set into the solar system. And I came in at a time when the community was growing fast and the game needed a strong communication push. And that's where I found my place.
What are the main challenges and difficulties in developing a large universe like QANGA?
One of the biggest challenges is that Yolacorp is a fully independent studio. We don't have a publisher or any external funding. The development is entirely supported by game sales and a few plugins we've built along the way. So that means we have to be smart and focused with every decision we make. And on top of that, QANGA is a very ambitious project. The team could have aimed for something with a smaller scope, but we're not afraid of a challenge. Recreating the entire solar system, making it explorable in real time, and building systems that support that kind of scale is no more task. Take the tram system, for example. It's not just a visual gimmick. It operates across the planet and even beyond in real time. It's just one of the many complex systems we've put a lot of thought and love into. That level of ambition comes with technical hurdles, of course, but also a huge sense of pride when we see it working.
How will QANGA differentiate itself from other games in its genre, such as Star Citizen and No Man's Sky, for example?
QANGA sets itself apart in a few key ways. First, the entire solar system is recreated at a 1:2 scales, as I said, and it's not procedural. Every planet and moon has been placed and designed with care, which gives the universe a more grounded and coherent structure. And secondly, QANGA is aiming for a gameplay loop that mixes survival, exploration, building, combat in a post-apocalyptic setting. While some systems are still evolving during early access, the goal is to offer players the freedom to scavenge, trade, build, and fight to survive across a devastated solar system. And finally, the tone of the game leans heavily into a space-based post-apocalyptic atmosphere, which is still relatively uncommon in the genre. QANGA doesn't focus on a high-tech or utopian future, but rather on a ruined world where technology is fading and survival is everything. So I think that gives QANGA a distinct identity, even in a crowded space survival landscape.
How has feedback from players or testers influenced the development process? What has been the most valuable feedback you have received?
From the very beginning, the studio wanted to build a real connection with the players. A lot of studios say that, but in our case, it's truly part of how we work. Even before I joined, there was already a strong back and forth between the team and the community, especially through Benja. That spirit of openness is still very much at the core of our process today. So yeah, feedbacks plays a huge role in shaping QANGA. Every comment posted on Discord, on Steam, or elsewhere is seen, noted, and taken seriously. But of course, that doesn't mean every suggestion will be implemented as is. We always have to keep the bigger picture and balance in mind. So, for example, some players asked us to make jetpacks permanently unlimited. So it's an interesting idea, and we understand why it would be appealing. It could open up a lot of possibilities for exploration, but at the same time, it brings complex balancing issues that we have to think through very carefully. So why not every suggestion leads to a change? The dialogue is constant and the community is clearly helping to shape the game's direction.
What role does storytelling play in QANGA? Will there be a storyline to complete or a series of missions? And if there is a story, will this look different in solo and online play?
Right now, the story element in QANGA isn't the main focus yet. The team has been prioritizing the technical foundations and gameplay systems to make sure the core experience is solid. But that said, the main narrative arc has already been written by Benja, and it's something we are planning to develop more deeply over time. Well, in fact, the team is currently working on a complete rework of the mission system, especially the missions that lead players toward Yellow Wall. The goal is to make them more structured and story-driven, with more focus on the lore and world building. So it's just the beginning. The plan is to introduce multiple missions chain gradually as development progresses. So these missions will be the same whether you're playing solo or online, so everyone can experience the story in the same way regardless of how they choose to play.
Will you have the ability to roleplay different ways of playing? For example, being a trader, miner, fighter pilot, pirate/outlaw, etc. And for solo players, will there be other NPC players who can attack you for your cargo, for example? Will there be rivaling factions, for instance?
A lot of those features are still being explored, but we can already say that NPCs will definitely play a role in bringing the world to life. Well, in fact, some of the relay towers already include experimental AI encounters where players can be attacked while approaching. The long-term goal is to create a living world where different playstyles can emerge, whether you want to focus on trading, exploring, or combat, even if there is no roles assigned technically. And we've also talked internally about introducing factions and a reputation system, possibly tied to unique rewards or consequences, but right now that's still in the early stages of discussion.
If you're allowed to say, can you tell us what upcoming update currently being worked on are you most looking forward to seeing implemented?
Right now we're testing a major update that focuses on vehicle behavior. So it might not sound like the flashiest feature, but it's a really important one. Until now, ground vehicles were, well, let's say, not the most pleasant to drive. The physics and controls just weren't where they needed to be. And that's all about to change. Driving a pickup across the Earth or even other planets is finally going to feel smooth and satisfying. And beyond that, what I'm really excited about is the upcoming rework of the mission system, which I mentioned earlier. It's going to bring a more structured, narrative-driven experience to the game and could really transform how players engage with QANGA in the long run.
How expansive will the ships and vehicles be in QANGA? How many ships are likely to be implemented, and will you be able to modify and upgrade ships, vehicles, etc.?
Customization is already possible to some extent. You can equip your spaceship with lights, a machine gun or a missile launcher, or even a multi-tool that allows you to gather resources. So it's the first step, and we definitely want to expand on that in the future, both for spaceships and land vehicles. With that said, creating new ships is actually one of the most complex and expensive parts of development. So even as someone who's not a developer, I've come to realize how much work and resources go into it. So right now, there are only 2 ships available in the game, and we're working on adding another one. But beyond that, we don't have concrete details to share yet. And there's also an ongoing internal discussion about the distribution model for future ships, whether they will be unlockable in-game or available for purchase. Offering some ships for sale could really help support the game financially, but we are also very mindful not to create a system where paying players get a real advantage. It's something we are approaching carefully with a lot of thought, but logically we shouldn't offer anything else than cosmetics in shops.
In terms of character creation, will this see any updates and improvements? Will we be able to customize our character more? And if so, how?
Yes, that's definitely something we want to expand on. It's not the top priority at the moment, as we are focusing on core gameplay system first. But in the long run, players will have more ways to customize their cyborg. Visual customization is something we know players care about.
What otherworldly threats will there be? Will there be an introduction of other alien races, for example?
For now, the main threat in QANGA comes from the Sanguines, a terrifying species born from ancient bacteria awakened by environmental collapse. They've already shown signs of evolutions, with 3 new types recently identified: the Sandigger, the gas sack, and the flyer. Some internal reports even mention a possible aquatic variant, though no solid evidence has been found yet. But beyond that, QANGA is a post-apocalyptic world, and as we all know, humans can be just as dangerous. So who knows? Not all threats may come from alien life forms. Some might be much closer to home.
Do you see QANGA as a standalone project, or is it part of a larger universe or series?
Right now, our full focus is on QANGA. It's tempting to imagine a larger universe with other games or spin-offs set in the same world, but we also know how important it is to stay grounded. QANGA is the top priority, and we still have so much we want to build into it. The ultimate vision for QANGA is to offer players true freedom in a deep, reactive world, a game where you can explore, you can survive, trade, build, fight, all at your own pace, while slowly uncovering an engaging and meaningful story. We want players to make their own path through the world and keep coming back because they feel like it's truly theirs.
Lastly, can you update us on the QANGA Patreon page, and how will this help support the game's future development, and what players can expect by signing up?
We recently launched the QANGA Patreon after some careful thought. One of our priorities has always been to maintain a close and inclusive relationship with the entire community, so we didn't want to create any kind of paywall. But at the same time, Patreon gives us a way to secure additional support and keep moving forward independently. There are currently 4 tiers available, each offering different kind of rewards. Some give access to exclusive behind-the-scenes content and early previews, while others let Patreons take part in development polls or even name an NPC. So in other words, some rewards allow you to have a real visible impact on the game world. And if you're interested in following QANGA more closely or helping us push the project further, so it's definitely worth checking out.
We reached out for the community to ask if they had any questions they would like to ask, and we have a few now from the community. Monarch9634 wants to know, I would like to hear more about the Worldscape technology. What kind of features will be added on the to-do list, as well as any updates on weather effects?
So, Worldscape is a plugin we developed in-house, and it's actually available on Fab, the Unreal Engine marketplace. And it's the foundation on which QANGA is built, and it allows us to recreate vast, persistent worlds like our version of the solar system. As for what's coming next, it's still a bit early to go into detail. The team definitely has plans in mind, including different atmospheric effects, volcanic activity, and a weather system. Venus, for example, is expected to have a dense, stormy atmosphere with extreme conditions, but that will take time to implement properly.
Arkaros42 would like to know, will there be non-player character vehicles moving around, including ships, to give the impression that the universe is less barren? Also, is it possible to store items inside vehicles? I haven't noticed a way to do this, and if not, this would be a great addition. They also ask, will broken and repairable vehicles be discoverable and used for spare parts or repaired for use, possibly also sold or traded in at stationed bases? If these vehicles have inventories, could rare or useful items be discovered?
Yes, AI-controlled vehicles are definitely planned. As mentioned earlier, we already have some early versions of this system running around certain relay towers where players can encounter hostile vehicles operated by NPCs. As for storing items in vehicles, that's not possible at the moment, but it's a great idea and definitely something worth exploring as we continue to expand the gameplay systems. In the future, it's possible that players will be able to collect resources from wrecked vehicles using the multi-tool. It's definitely an interesting idea and one we'd love to explore further. Thank you, BluffinMad, and thank you everyone for listening. So I hope I will see you very soon in QANGA. Have fun!
Thank you so much to Juliaan for taking the time to answer these questions today, and thank you guys for sending in your questions in the last video. If you have any other further questions, please leave them in the comments below, and make sure to click the link below to head over to the QANGA page on Steam and check it out for yourself if you're interested. As always guys, thank you so much for all your support, and I will see you all very soon in the next one. Cheers guys, bye bye.